Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 16th of December, comes to you from London. And a lot of green on the screen this morning, so that's markets are looking quite perky just at first glance. The dollar is just sinking a little bit lower. The Fed indicating yesterday that they were going to increase interest rates over 2022, some 3 times apparently. So the interest rate expectation is feeding into markets, but interestingly, that implies that there's no short-term action, and we're waiting for an interest rate decision in the UK today. So seeing the euro kicking up a little bit, and if we look at the UK market, we're seeing sterling also just kicking higher on that interest rate expectation. Bank of England reporting at midday today. Remembering this is my weekly, daily, and 60-minute chart, so we're bullish above the cloud on the short term, but medium term bearish, and the long term chart just starting to test a little bit. And so the trend is lower for sterling against the dollar. Against the euro, though, we're sitting at 117.48. We've been trending up gradually this week, and there is a general trend going on here, just increasing slightly against the euro. So sterling has the upper hand. Bitcoin sitting at $48,800, so back above the cloud on the short term. That's giving us a new upside target. If we go higher than 49,250, say, to 54,600. If you're trading Bitcoin, of course, keep an eye on the 1-minute charts. US stock market recovered quite sharply yesterday, up 1.6%, breaking just that 4,700 level. So we're just starting to see a recovery there. Quite a strong day showing up there in the daily candle. And if we look at the NASDAQ, similarly strong, bouncing back up through the cloud, and again a big daily candle. The futures this morning are up a further 0.5%, so the US market looks set to rise further. And the same for the NASDAQ, of course. The VIX volatility is now back below 20 as the risk recedes, and so we're seeing that move lower, and we're seeing quite strong showings in Europe. FTSE up 0.8%. The DAX in Germany, FTSE future that was, the DAX is up 1.5%, and the CAC Quarante up over 1%. So we're seeing quite a strong showing there. Japan was up over 1.5%, so that's looking bullish on the short term, back into bullish on the medium term, and the long term has stayed bullish throughout, so Japanese equities looking quite good. The Hang Seng was only up 0.25%, and that's relatively weak performance, shows through in the charts where we're below the cloud on all 3 time frames. And the Sensex in India was little changed, and the Aussie market was actually down, bucking the trend, so down 0.4%. Resource-laden Aussie market, of course, just not performing the same. We'll look at the energy mix in a minute, but we're seeing quite strong showings. Sugar up 1%, wheat up 0.6%. These trends are still bullish trends. The short term over the last week or so has been negative. And we've seen precious metals really hammered over the last couple of weeks, especially platinum and palladium. But gold recovering this morning, really needs to get back above that $1,800 mark. Silver up 0.5%, so it might have found a floor at 21.50. That holding that September low is quite important for silver. Platinum is up this morning, but again has been in bearish trends, and palladium has really underperformed, up 3.8% this morning, but still bearish on all 3 time frames. US 10-year yields sinking slightly lower on the 10-year. We're up on the 30-year. So for the moment, bond yields are fairly suppressed, despite the Fed comments. Looking at the energy mix, in fact, I was looking at German Power this morning. A couple of I put this post on LinkedIn. A couple of clients pointing out their charts look slightly different. If you're using OTC or Bloomberg, here I'm using Icon. If you're using Trayport or Bloomberg, your targets might be slightly different on the 1-minute charts. They'll be the same or similar on the 60-minute, and almost certainly the same on the daily, because the price anomalies will be less marked. Looking at Brent Crude, we're up this morning. We were actually neutral on Brent Crude. We're still below the cloud, but we had some upside targets. The same with WTI. US nat gas, we're actually bullish. We've got some good upside targets here. Storage numbers today, of course. And if we look at coal, we're sitting at 124. So this 100 floor is pretty important for coal, and we're back into bullish territory on the short-term chart. Emissions back above €80 this morning. Really critical that we hold this €80 mark. We've got a target to 85.90 if we can break 82. Keep an eye on these 1 minute charts throughout the day, and the most important thing is we don't fall back through that 79 level, activating the downside. So keep a very close eye on that. Looking at gas markets this morning, we are coming back slightly, so we are seeing a bit of a pullback. We saw this at the end of yesterday where we fell away quite dramatically in the last hour. So we are just seeing, of course, a lot of volatility. Very hard to call. Keep an eye on these 1 minute charts if you're trading gas. They're vital. And there's MBP. German power up sharply this morning, opened at the nearly 130 level, pulling back this morning. Watch your OTC targets there on the 1 minute chart, and the same applies, of course, for all the other power markets. Looking at Nordic power, we're up 7% on the quarterly this morning. We're bullish here because we have new upside targets. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.